science.
We are the himbos, we are not bimbos. We are the himbos, we are not bimbos. We are the himbos, himbos, yeah. Coming gonna tell you how to do your hair.
Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Himbos. It's your boy, the White D'Angelo, Justin Silver, sitting across from Nicky The Lat, filling in for Josh Adam Myers today. Yeah, bring it up, big boy. We are coming to you live from Pasha in Ibiza, hanging out with Arab oil money and Eurotrash, popping GHB. So this is going to be a fucking wild one. Nick, I'm glad to have you with me here.
Dude, it's a blast. I'm drinking GHB right now.
Yeah, go ahead, sip it. He's drinking a green drink, so great. Look,
Tastes like chlorine.
Show everybody what it looks like.
It's too low.
Show everybody what it
He's
looks like.
drank
There
too
you go.
much.
Oh, you drank too much of it already? Mm-hmm. You drank too much GHB?
Fucked up.
And if you are feeling a little tingly from the sound of that third mic, that is one of our dynamic duo. We're down two today.
We are.
But we are a dynamic trio, a triad. It is Natalie.
Hello.
What's up, Nat?
Feeling good.
It is the three of us today. It is a listener questions episode. First of all, I want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing on YouTube. Thank you for the 5-star ratings and reviews on iTunes. Thank you all who have joined us at Club Connection, which is the Himbos Patreon, where you get everything from 4 bonus episodes a month, Q&A, product reviews, playlists, fun bonus shit, like me and Nick recorded a whole week of workouts for you guys, merch, and you even get customized songs from the Granite Songbird himself. Want to give a big shout out to the new patrons, Brian, who hopped in this morning, and to, let me figure out how to say this, it's Grap, but its name's Cameron. So it's GRWAP, also known as Cameron, who's in the VIP lounge with us for $10. So thank you guys so much for joining. A lot of fun stuff on Patreon. We've been trying to give you a very robust product offering. Me and Nick have been shooting a lot of
I'm sore from filming content for you guys.
We've been shooting a lot of content for you
I
guys.
did legs for them.
Yeah,
I did
you
legs.
did. We had Natalie. Nick is been on my couch for what, like 10 days?
Yeah, about a week actually. Yeah.
We have a fucking bromance going on, the two of us.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
we're having a good
Cute.
time.
I've never had like a roommate ever in my life.
For real?
I've lived with girlfriends. I've never had a roommate, and I was like, I don't think I could ever. I could live with Nick.
Yeah.
I could be Nick's platonic lover.
Here's the funny thing about Justin. What was it like? It was like 2 a.m. I was having trouble sleeping. Saw him on my phone, and I hear Justin come out, and he goes, "I can't sleep. I need to do this." And at 2 a.m, he couldn't sleep because he had to get down training his dog to go between his legs. He couldn't. That's the reason why he couldn't sleep.
The backwards move.
Backwards
It's not
move.
that I couldn't sleep. It's when I can't sleep, I just want to do. I'll start doing like Brutus dog tricks, which is fun. It's like.
Dude, if anyone ever questions how much you love dogs, how much did you sleep last night?
I didn't sleep at all last night.
Why? Because you were thinking about dog training.
No. I wasn't thinking about dog training at all. I had a million other things going on, and then when I can't sleep, I'll watch like protection dog videos, and then I'll just start like
Dog stuff.
I'll start
Hell
I'll start geeking out on it, and then wanting to do with Brutus, and then I'm like teaching him how to do like 360s and shit. I fucking we're getting really close. We're making breakfast every day.
Yeah.
I shaved my chest with Nick's razor today. Look, everybody, fresh cut.
I taught Justin to use salt on food.
Yeah,
Very white
We've
of
been
him.
cooking. We've been cooking. We've been going to the gym. Now we're adorable together. Are we adorable together, Natalie?
He used my razor
Very
this morning.
cute.
He used my razor this morning to shave his chest.
To shave my chest.
How does that make you feel, Nick?
I don't mind it as long as he doesn't touch my toothbrush. Toothbrush is where I draw the line.
I wouldn't use your toothbrush. But you know what? It's good. You know what happens when you get older? You sort of like you miss like your buddy time. You don't have much of it.
Oh, yeah.
So like whenever someone's visiting or whenever I'm like at my friends in LA, it's like, oh, you have like bro time again. It's essential. It's essential to keep your
Especially
head
when you're on the
straight.
road or doing stand up all the time. It's like for me, I'm not in New York that much. So when I'm in New York, it's like, oh, thank God I could see like you. I could see people that I like to hang out with. On the road, they're just like you're in Omaha in a
some
fucking
hotel.
cornfield. Like, all right, what do I do now besides,
If you're on the road with your boys, it's awesome though.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's nothing to do other than just like hang out in the hotel room, go find like little things you want to do in the town. Some people do that, some people don't. I like to do that shit. I like to explore the place I'm in. A lot of times it's boring places. But yeah, man, this has been fucking fun. Josh is out doing some Josh stuff today, so Nick is filling in, and I was like, perfect.
Dude,
Perfect.
did I tell you about Omaha?
No.
So we went to the Omaha Zoo. What I did not know was, because I'm so used to being
the Omaha Zoo.
It's the best zoo in the country. So I didn't know this. I'm so used to living in New York, Los Angeles, and South Florida that I'm used to everyone being somewhat in shape, somewhat of a himbo. These are like himbo. I've only lived in himbo capitals my whole life.
What are the himbo capitals?
I'd say New York is number one.
No.
Then Miami.
No. New York can't be number one.
This is where it originated, though. Saturday Night Fever is what started it off.
Natalie, join in on this. What do we think?
I would have guessed Miami.
I would have think South Beach is like himbo fucking central.
Yeah. Well, I said New York.
Not our version of himbo, which is sort of like the redefinition of the word, but like the real fucking himbos.
Meatheads.
The Jersey Shore's a big one.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore's a hub, for sure. And Chicago, kind of. But it's just New York is where the most of us are. If you go to South Florida, it's only in Miami where it's a lot of himbos. Like you go outside of Miami.
But New York, you're talking Manhattan here. So that's the size of Manhattan.
You're talking Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Are you confusing
Am I confusing himbo and Guido?
himbo and Guido, which happens a lot?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of crossover, and you and I are both Guidos.
That's fair.
You got to think about the average himbo is what? He's like the pretty boy, Natalie, like the male model type of guy.
Like a Ken doll.
Like a bit, could be a Ken doll, could be a little swarthy, could have some like Latin flavor in him. But you know what I'm talking about? Like those guys who like, you ever see those guys, they'll shoot their own TikTok content and they obviously have a drone and they'll just be like sitting on the edge of like a cliff, like thinking with their shirt off just like this and the wind blowing and there's a drone shot of it and you're like, wow, what is this the intro to? And you're like, nothing. That was the content.
So Giga Chad is like
Giga Chad. Oh, shit.
Giga Chad is like what the himbo is, right?
Let's show everybody Giga Chad real quick. Natalie, can you look this up? Nick introduced me to this, and it's fucking hilarious. I'll let Nick explain it. There he is.
There he is. People aren't sure if he's a real human being or not. What happened was, what are those people? Those incels. So incels basically turned him into folklore, where he was like this thing that every girl wants, and apparently it's a real guy.
Go back to him.
Just
I
got
want to see it again.
photoshopped.
I want to see it again. Yeah, it looks like a real guy that got photoshopped.
Well,
but
it started with this, didn't it?
Let me see.
where?
This is where it started.
So that was
and then they made this guy around it.
Yes, yeah, he's the like what they consider.
That looks like a real guy to me.
Well, there is a real guy. I think they just
They
photoshopped the
photoshopped
picture.
him
Yeah, they
to look
jawed him
extra
out.
jaw.
They made him look like Gaston.
And
from,
apparently the guy is a German dude who's so upset that he's become this.
Why? What was he going to do otherwise?
He was just a regular model. He just wanted his own privacy.
Okay, so go ahead.
But back to Omaha. I'm so used to being in all these places where people are in shape that you go to the middle of the country sometimes and you're like, oh shit, there's no Guidos, there's no Himbros.
No Guidos.
Everyone was just, it was like hover around Central. Like everybody in the zoo was either like just big or just like riding a scooter around the place.
Big, like, you know, the double gulp.
Hefty. Yeah.
Hefty.
Big.
Yeah, this country's not that healthy.
No, this is how one helped. Like at one point, there was some little kid who asked one of the people at the zoo. He's like, "What do you think is the deadliest thing at the zoo?" And I'm like, "Probably diabetes."
All right, we've got a full episode of your questions, which we love. Thank you guys so much for submitting these. But first, we are going to do a little bit of a competition on this one. It's a toss-up for Himbo of the Week. The first one is one of my favorite human beings to watch. Probably one of the toughest and meanest and most intimidating NFL player of all times, I would think, is James Harrison. And watch the shit that James Harrison does. Here we go. Boom.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
8,
All right.
9,
So
11, 12, 13,
for those listening,
15, that's 30. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Listen to
5,
these
6,
numbers.
7, 8, 9, 10. It's 40, 41, 42, 42 plays plus the weight of the sled.
42.
1,960 pounds.
Okay, he's going to push a 1,960-pound sled. How many yards is he going to push this fucking thing? He does some shit. Yeah, dude. He does some shit that's like questionable because it's like you could get real injured from this, but he's a fucking monster. Here he goes. Come on, James. Imagine this guy coming at you on the lawn.
You got this?
Holy shit, dude.
This is the guy you want helping you move to your new apartment.
You could just move your fucking house.
Yeah, he's going to pick up your couch with one hand.
Oh, he goes.
You're like, here are my things, and he's rah, rah.
Dude, he's no joke, man. Go to the next video. Let me see more.
Whoa.
We got a bunch. All right. Oh, I like how he talks when he's lifting. Listen.
What is that? 405, 25.
He probably says in
455?
All right, bench pressing 455 with. Is it? He's like, get off it, motherfucker! It's mine. Is that harder when they put the block there, Nick?
No.
So he doesn't hit that chest. Yeah, he's an animal. Next one.
Yeah, because if you crash that weight down on your chest hard enough, you ain't coming back up.
All right, here we go. Let's explain this. Shoulder raising an Olympic bar with 45 pounds on each side, so that's 135.
That's 135. Here's the
Easily.
thing. I could do that, but
With that weight?
But without, I could easily do that with a dumbbell. But here's why that's hard: the
balancing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one. This is the one that I first saw of him hip thrusting, which we did those yesterday. Nick, what did you say?
Did not like.
What did you say?
Okay.
And we
A
let
little
you'll see this on
preface is,
Patreon.
I don't do them too often,
Fair enough.
but it's the only exercise Justin is stronger than me in.
I what? But it's just because I do them.
Mm-hmm.
Nick houses me and everything else. All right, how much weight is on this fucking thing? Look at this, Natalie. Watch the intensity.
Dude,
weights
this guy
start-
fucks hard.
He fucks hard. Oh,
That poor girl that's on the other side of
I
that
hate
hip
to be
thrust.
the woman on the other side of the hip thrust.
Right, she's going through the fucking wall.
There's James Harrison, and then the next one, someone sent me this guy. One of the Himbo Army sent me this. What's this guy's name? The Lion Black. Let's go to his. This is fit on another level.
Holy shit, it's Jason Bourne.
He's doing muscle ups, bouncing from one bar to the other.
Dude, I love how that kid was about to do something, saw this, and went, yeah, I'll just put my hands on my hips and watch.
Yeah, this is insane. These are those people who have just like functional strength on another level. I don't even know what to call this. He's sort of like beating the shit out of fucking and breakdancing the ground.
It reminds me of parkour in a way.
It's sort of like parkour. It's a little manic. It's a little frenzied. It's dancey.
He's breakdance push-ups.
He's doing breakdance push-ups. The interesting thing, he's like in
He's
this
the
like
strongest b-boy dancer.
he's in this crowd. Like if you saw this actually happening in a gym, you'd be like, all right, that's impressive, but this is like a little. Go to the next one. You're like, you could see the way people are responding to it. They're kind of like, wait, this is amazing, but what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Go to what's this one? Same thing. Oh, more parkour.
This to me is more fun to watch than a guy stacking a bunch of weights and lifting them.
This is definitely more fun to watch. This is the kind of thing you'd also see, like, you could see someone in Times Square doing this, like, as a street performer.
A guy with a bongo behind him.
But I was thinking, like, a red boombox. Yeah, definitely like a red boombox, and you could have him in, like, some sort of, like, a tracksuit from
my thing.
Marshalls. Go ahead.
Everyone's like, this is functional workouts. Functional for what?
I think what
Where
they
are
mean
you doing
Being
this?
Spider-Man.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Like, what
I'm
are you doing? Right.
In what situation you're like, I need to do this? It's like Pythagorean theorem or like shit you learned in high school. Like,
right.
This guy could
Like,
scale a wall probably. Like
Yeah.
I feel like but other than that, you're right.
yes,
Yeah.
there's no...
most people are business people who work in a cubicle. When in a cubicle, you're like, okay, if only I could do this.
When would this be necessary?
If you're fighting crime.
If you're frightened,
Yeah, literally.
Go ahead. Let me see the next one. This one is sick, but you got to see the reactions from everybody else. Like if you were just in a gym and you saw somebody do this, but boom, look at that. That's insane strength.
Yeah, I'd be like, man, get a...
Dude, here's why this is so funny to me. Like, everybody around just doing regular workouts. Could you imagine if you were going to use the pull-up bar and you asked the guy next to you, like, hey, you can use that? And Spider-Man just flies in.
Well,
you're like, I
watch.
guess
He
I'm not
almost
using it.
almost bangs into this dude on the left over here.
Like, this is so cool, but if you're in the gym, this is the most
It's
annoying.
inappropriate. This is inappropriate.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it's inappropriate. Wait, what's he doing here? Is it the same one? Yeah, you see the reactions from everybody. I bet this
They're
guy's
so
like
sick of him at this gym.
I bet this guy's like got the personality where he's super annoying. Like, you can
100%.
almost see his personality from this, but
Well, he's in the gym not wearing a shirt, for starters.
yeah.
Which is usually, at a commercial gym like this, if you're doing that, everyone's like, what a douchebag.
Yeah, but
What he's doing is
dude, this is
crazy
fucking
impressive.
impressive. We're gonna post, like, for those of you listening, I'm gonna post this on our social media, and I'm also gonna post links to it because it is fucking impressive. But let's pick one of these, and you guys could all also write in and DM us and tell us
That was
go back.
wild.
That was insane. It's right at the beginning. Go back real quick. That's fucking
If you
wild.
wear elbow pads at the gym, you're doing something unnecessary.
Yeah, probably. This first move, up,
It's
pikes
crazy.
out.
It's insane.
That's fucking wild. All right, who do we like for this week? We're going to pick one. I have my vote.
You want me my pick? I gotta go because the first dude is not doing anything I haven't seen before. The second dude, annoying, but fucking impressive, and it's not something you see in the gym all the time.
Not something you see ever. I've never seen that. Natalie? Who
I
you like?
agree. I also feel like he would be really annoying, but
He'd be so annoying.
But I think it's cooler to watch the videos.
The Lion
More
Black.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen stronger dudes.
I say James Harrison. I've been outvoted, but just because I'm such a fan. But you guys, you can also give us your opinions and tell us what you think. All right, next up, we got some great gym fails. I like the gym fails.
I love
everybody.
them.
I love them. These two are hilarious. What's the first one we got? Oh, this chick. All right, Nick, first set it up for people. Wait, before you play it, set it up for people not watching and just listening.
What do you mean, like what she's doing?
Tell them what she's doing.
So she's trying to do an ab workout. So she's trying to she puts the rope behind her head, and what she's trying to do is use the weight to do like a resistance crunch.
Yeah, she's on her knees, and her head is about 2 feet from the floor. I'm just trying to give you guys the visuals who aren't watching. All right, let's see this. It's a great song, by the way.
In all fairness to her, that wasn't her fault.
That wasn't her fault, but that is
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was the machine, yeah? And she, like, bonked her head on the ground?
You got to give her credit, though. Like, she obviously filmed this herself, and she posted it. So she
Yeah,
takes...
I'll give her credit.
Yeah, she doesn't take herself too serious. Oh, the fucking thing snapped off.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the
shit.
machine. It broke.
You know what? That's a fucking lawsuit right there.
If she would have
If you have that on film, I wonder if that's a lawsuit.
I love how your Jewish side.
If
was
she
like,
got
"There's a
really
lawsuit
injured-
involved
Right,
in
and
this."
shoot out.
If she got really injured, she could totally, because that was the machine.
And you have it on video. All right, the next one's my favorite. Resistance
good quads.
bands added to the knee extension. Snap and hit that motherfucker right in the nuts.
This-
Ooh, Natalie's
He
facing that
deserved
one.
that because you're on a machine that's already plated resistance.
I don't think he deserved
He's
that,
doing
Nick.
this to be fancy.
Oh! I really don't think so. He did not deserve that. I feel bad for this guy.
No, that was literally karma for just doing stupid
listen
shit.
to his response. Ooh, it's a bad reaction, dude. That thing's got to fucking hurt. All right. We've got... we want to attend to your listener questions here. You can write us in at himbospodcast@gmail.com, or if you're on Patreon, you can just hit us up on Patreon. You can also just reply to whenever I post the stories for it, you could reply there, but it is a little bit more efficient if you email us. That way you can write something out. Natalie, take it away.
All right. The first one is from JM. It says, what is an alternative exercise for the upright row and what muscle group is it supposed to work? My wrists always hurt after, and I'm 99.9% sure I'm doing wrong, but there's got to be better exercises out there. I need the himbo advice.
Go.
So with that, I know exactly probably what he's doing. One of the problems is a lot of people don't know where to put their hands on the bar. Because if you're doing them right...
Just to explain, the upright row is a bar like
from
this.
here to here.
Right.
So if you're not putting your wrists far enough out, if you're putting them too far in, your wrists are going to get cocked like this and kind of bend
So if you're
inwards,
doing
and
them
the
narrow.
weight is going to pull them at a way where your wrists aren't meant to go. So you want to keep them a little wider when you're going to do it. But I've had this problem too, and I have this weird issue where I've just wrist problem. I sneeze too hard and my wrists hurt. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I told my doctor.
Stop it.
I told my doctor, and she said,
Chill.
I don't know, man. She's like, that's weird.
You sneeze too hard and your wrist hurt?
Yeah.
Like it quakes through
they
your
tingle.
bones?
My wrists get numb. So I have like weird wrists.
I guess I could kind of like see that. Like sometimes you sneeze and like blood rushes. You get like, but in my wrists,
My wrists
That
just go
almost
numb.
makes
Fingers
me feel
are-
like your spine is messed up and you're feeling numbness in your fingers. Isn't that usually like
Could be.
a spine thing?
is it like a?
You
Is
knew
it
more
like
than
a,
my doctor, apparently, because she just went,
Mine
"That's
might
weird."
be totally wrong, but
What
I-
are they? What are they? Is it called like aftershock, where something like you see an explosion and then there's it like
Yeah, for, like, an
reverberates
earthquake.
through? Is that
That
what's
might be-
happening?
yeah.
You have like sneeze
I sneeze
aftershock?
hard. I sneeze like an old
You have a
fucking
meaty
man.
nose. You have a meaty nose.
Oh, I got a big Italian schnoz.
You got a schnoz.
Yeah.
You got a little nasal.
And it's worse from getting broken. Yeah, it's bad. But back to what I was saying with him. He wants to put his arms a little further apart when you do them because it's going to be less of the wrist bending inwards in an angle that they're not supposed to go up because the weight's going to be pulling that down.
Right, right.
pulling
Your wrist is not supposed to be bent like sideways. This
So
is
it-
like that's almost like something you would do in MMA to like like a submission hold
Yeah,
in a weird way.
but a good alternative if you want to keep on doing them. It's supposed to help the overall delt, which I mean I don't really do them too much just because I'd rather just military press.
It's
because
doing delts and traps to
Yeah.
answer his question.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd rather just be doing straight shrugs at different angles to actually work it. It's good as like an overall workout. So if you wanted to keep on doing them, a great change to that, which is there's a guy on Instagram, Joe Aesthetics. He looks ridiculous. What he does is he does it with the cable, pulls his body out further, and does it from here.
So you have that
This
space.
way, it's not the weight pulling down, and you could adjust your angles and do it single arm. This way, you could do it without hurting your wrists.
No, I get that. The other thing is like what people do is they don't realize they go too high with these. You don't need to go to like right above the nipple line.
Yeah.
If you go too high, the wrists are doing the same thing. The other thing I was thinking is like this exercise is like known. Like anytime they recommend this exercise on like fitness forums or like YouTube pages, they're like, but if this exercise hurts, it's like one of the ones that like tends to hurt the most. It's also throwing your shoulder girdle like in a weird space, so you get a lot of rotate. I can't talk today. Rotator cuff. You know what it is? Here's what it is. I didn't sleep last night, and because Nick's a millennial, he gave me an Adderall. That's what's going on. It throws your rotator cuff out of alignment. But
also, I hate to sound like JPG coaching.
No.
He's like the optimal guy on TikTok that everyone follows for the most optimal workouts. He would have, in his words, this is not the most optimal workout for shoulders. There's so many more things you could do to target it that probably aren't going to hurt your wrist, put you in weird angles where you could actually target the muscles better by doing like that's him right there. He rocks.
Asian dude
Or
Mexican?
Filipino.
Both.
Yes. Yeah, if you watch his videos, he shows how to do everything at the right angles. This way you're actually getting the right form. Like his chest video helped me out a lot because I felt like I wasn't benching I wasn't getting enough chest gain.
Yeah. He
showing-
does functional shit too. Look at him doing muscle ups with the side grips. Yeah, man, this guy's in fucking sick shape.
He's in great shape and he explains things very, very well.
Yeah. You know what it is? Here's the other thing is like if you're doing like cleans, like when you're doing like CrossFit movements or you're doing power, it's like the clean has the upright row in it, but it finishes the movement.
Yeah.
You know, and your body's also allowed to move under it. Here's the thing. It depends what you want to do. If you're doing like, if you're lifting for aesthetics and just for like general health, the way you would do that is by bodybuilding exercises, which are meant to be inefficient ways of lifting because you're isolating and targeting stabilizer muscles, which would otherwise, in strength training or powerlifting, you're trying to find the most efficient way to get the weight up. The most efficient way to get the weight up is using the primary muscles, and then the stabilizer muscles are just helping those. When you're bodybuilding, you're trying to find the most inefficient movement so that you can isolate those stabilizer muscles. So
that's why
there's a difference between the two. So if you're going to do this for like aesthetics and bodybuilding, it's better to like just try to target that in another way.
Yeah, CrossFitters do things for how can I get things up the most efficient. That's why when
the
they
fastest and the strongest.
That's why when they do pull-ups, they look like seals trying to get your attention.
Right.
They fucking flop all the way
Yeah,
up.
they're flopping all around.
Is that the best way to do a pull-up for the muscle? Not at all.
No.
But it's the best way to get.
It's the best way to get that job done.
Yeah,
it's the best way, right? Like it's like, listen, if power lifters like when they're doing bench presses, it's like their back is all the way arched. If you want to,
I hate.
But if you were gonna lift to make
it.
your chest bigger, though, I mean, you still get bigger by doing that if you're getting stronger. But the way to like the most efficient way to get your chest bigger is to isolate this in a way where it's like you wouldn't be able to lift as much. You have to lift less.
I wish we could pull up a video of the back arch with bench because that grinds my gears so much. I mean, if you're just doing it for weight, this who could put up the most weight, that's cool. But that's just like wearing a bench press suit where it's like you can't really bench press that if your back is all the way arched and you're only getting 2 inches of push.
Yeah. No, I get it. Totally. Agreed.
I have unneeded hate for it. Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. You're here because I love you. Nick, I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
I love you
Hell
too.
yeah.
Aw. All right. Next one.
Okay, this is from Kelly. Oops, wrong camera. That's Dylan. That's me. Justin, I love the episode with you talking about liking to lick girls' toes. I've always had the best experiences, both sexually and emotionally, with guys who weren't afraid to gently push the boundaries a little. Trying new things I've never done before, but not in a way where it feels forced or pressured. I feel like this has become lost in men. Guys feel either tentative because they're scared to offend or are way too pushy and kind of misogynistic. Would love to hear you and the ladies talk about this.
Well, you're the lady, so
And
we
the
have
lady.
we have the one lady. You want to go first on this?
I agree with what she's saying here that like it's just read people. Like don't be obviously too pushy is like a problem, but as long as you're approaching things in a polite and like loving way, like there's not a problem with, trying things being a little bit.
Yeah, I don't even think. I mean, to take it, like, I don't even think polite. Like, I think guys are probably either too polite, or the alternative is they're like Andrew Tate.
I think the word, because she's using polite because she's the one in that scenario. But I think
She didn't use that word. Natalie used that word.
well, what I'm saying is like the way she's talking about it with like too pushy and misogynistic. I
Yeah,
think
she used
that
the word
she's
tentative.
having
Tentative.
trouble. Like she's not having trouble. She's reading it in her eyes, but in reality, it's just she's just meeting guys who either know how to read sexual cues and some guys who don't know how to read
That's
sexual
what, but
cues.
no, yeah, that
Yeah.
I agree with. Yeah, I think exactly what she's. No, she's saying I think she's talking about. She's saying that she's had guys who kind of do this the right way,
I think
which is
that-
like they're loving and caring. They're also experimental, and they probably like. They might be older than her or have more experience where they could like kind of bring her through that.
Yeah.
And they don't lose the compassion element of it, but they're still kind of like, they're sexy in the way where they're like,
Like if he's gonna tie her up, he's done
Yeah.
this before. It's not like his
He's
first
owning
time where
it.
he
He's
just watched
owning
it on
it.
YouTube how to tie a knot.
right.
You know what I mean?
You could see how it's like, especially like now with like, I think guys are here's the thing. I agree with like Andrew Tate being like guys have been feminized and that's not a good thing. But the answer to that is not being the way he is, where he's like a fucking Neanderthal and like calls women like, and the bitch is going to give you the pussy. It's because you got the money. It's like, you missed the compassion element there.
Don't get
And-
me wrong. In bed, there's some girls that are like that love that. You know what I mean? They
Sure.
want that. That's
or
their-
they want it role played by
But
someone
yeah,
who really
clear
does
that
care
with
about them.
Only
clear
in a
that
bed
with them
situation.
beforehand.
Yeah, it's very good to be able to read, and you're only gonna be able to learn how to read through experience.
Through experience.
And I mean, for some people that's harder, but it's also good. Like some people like using the word consent, and I don't mean not ask for consent,
Yeah.
but like if you like I've heard of people
Is
saying
this
you should
okay
ask.
if I?
That's the most.
Well, it's the way Natalie just said it. I have to say, like the way you said, like make sure that's okay. I would think that Natalie, you personally, whether it was a guy or a girl or trans or whatever you were dating, right? That if that person was like, is it if they needed fucking consent forms from the HR department to try something on you, the sexy of that is gone. And so the subtlety of like knowing how to read you
Yeah.
and giving shit about you and also like wanting to fuck the shit out of you and bring you through this like experience of something new, like all those have to work together. And that's that's something you're only going to learn by actually like, number one, really giving a shit about a person or like giving a shit about the opposite sex or whatever, the partner you're with. It's not just opposite sex. In this case it is. In this
Yeah.
case
as far as
but-
tips though, I think a good way to go about
I don't
it,
think she's asking for tips. She said, would you
Okay.
just
But
talk?
I'm saying
for guys.
for the people, because
Yeah,
she
yeah,
wants guys to know
Good
what
point.
to do. I think one of the best tips I can give is when you're going to push a boundary, read the reaction. Read that. If you could tell when someone's uncomfortable in such. If they start feeling uncomfortable, pull back. Don't be like, all right, time to go full bore. She'll like this more if I really go into it. Read the reaction. If it seems like she finds that, if she's like, okay, this is pleasant. You could read someone's face.
Yeah, of course.
You could read someone's reaction.
Listen, if you're in bed with someone, you're reading everything about them.
Yeah.
Like there's every language possible. It's the most heightened form of communication at that point.
If they tense up, okay, take it back.
But listen, I've been with women where it was like they were younger than me. I really cared for them. I had more sexual experience, and I wanted them so badly, and I wanted to like experience something with them where they were tentative at first, and I was like, I knew that like they would. I knew that they would enjoy this, and I knew that they trusted me also, and so like that's what she's saying. Like I was like, there's also something like women or men, people want to feel like they can do something that's risky that they wouldn't normally do, which requires trust. So there is always an element of being scared, which is what makes it exciting.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? So if I'm going to bring somebody through something that may scare them, they have to trust me so that if we're going to like a haunted house or something like that, right? You have to trust me that like, even though I'm the one bringing you there, like I'm still the one with my arm around you when you're
You're going to be okay.
You're going to be
Yes,
okay.
You want to make
And
them feel comfortable. Like, my girl's not going to listen to this, so I could say it. Like, one of the first times me and my fiance were, like, hooking up, I went to go down on her, and she was like, I don't like that. And I was like, what do you mean you don't like? Every girl likes that.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I tried. It's just not for me. And I was like,
And you knew it was done wrong.
She was it. Yeah. So I was like, trust me. And she's like, okay. Then that was a story I told you the other day where after I was done, she grabbed me by my face and went, my pussy's not broken.
Not broken.
Yeah, because she was like, that's the first time I ever actually really experienced a full orgasm.
Yeah.
And it's because I got her to be able to trust me, and she knew in that situation that I was not going to just like, I'm sure guys have done it before and they just put their face down there and did what they saw in porn.
Perfunctory movements.
Yeah. They're doing
like,
the
this is what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Or this is enough to satisfy you to like move on to the next thing.
Look at it like a dog drinking water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to just make them feel comfortable because you might open their eyes to something they might not have known is their thing.
Dude, I'll tell you, listen, I'm not someone who like chases younger chicks. I don't, but I've dated women that were younger than me where you could, like when I've gone down on them or I've went to do things, you could be like, you could tell that they're like, they only have the experience of the last people that they've been with. So like, no, like this, like that, like nervous that like it was going to be the same old thing or not be done right. And I'll be like, just sit back, relax. Like, let me just do, and then like you open them up a little bit.
Exactly.
And by the way, like that's also, I've been with women who are more experienced that have opened me up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not my ass, but yeah, that's like,
that's also how you learn too, how to get better at things. Cause like especially if you're going down, you could learn so much because not every girl's different.
Every girl's different.
Honestly,
on that one, everyone.
It's like a combination lock that's different every single time. You know what I mean? So what you have to do is be able to read their body language in that situation. Are they moving? Are they moaning? Are you getting nothing? It's like trying out a new joke. If you get no reaction, so you're like, all right, throw that joke. Let's try something new.
Well, that's what like the dirty talk and like how people's vocalizations. They're a honing device. You're like you're trying to find north here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Trying to make you come.
Are you a foot guy?
Am I a foot guy? Yeah, but I don't know if I have a foot fetish.
Okay.
I just like licking women's toes and sticking their feet in my mouth because I like that it turns them on so much. And then it's like also if I'm way into them, it's like there's like I just want to suck on everything.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
I
want everything.
I'm a foot guy, and it's so funny because my girl would rather me go to a strip club than go with her to go get a pedicure at a place and see other girls.
Really?
Yeah.
She doesn't like you fucking with her feet?
No, she likes it. But if I went to her at a pedicure place where other girls' feet are out,
dude, you'd be like, be
Yeah,
getting
I'd
off
be like,
watching
that's
chicks
my
getting
strip
their
club.
fucking
Yeah,
pedis
yeah.
done.
Mhm.
Really? I don't know. We have Foot Finder.
But there's different levels of it, and
That's what I was gonna say. Foot Finder would tell us. I want to know what's the different levels of like a foot fetish, or like you just like I like licking a girl's neck. Also, do I have like a neck fetish?
Like I'm not like those guys that want birthday cake kicked on my face. You know what I mean? There's different levels. But what's good about having a girl and her being comfortable with it is it's harder to come out with a foot fetish in this year, like this time of our life, than to come out as gay.
Okay, what level?
Like if you said you're gay, people are like, oh, congrats.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I have a foot fetish, like, ew, what the fuck?
I don't
But
know.
in 5 years, I think we'll be done with that.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's definitely become at least maybe this job has skewed my opinion, but I feel like there's a bunch of dudes.
Well,
around here
dude,
that
we
I've
got
heard talk about it.
We got our own website, Foot Finder. Is it footfinder.com? Throw it up there, man. There's like I didn't even realize the depths of this, but I kind of like I don't know if
trying
I
to get me all boned up on here?
Here. Let's find the level of your foot fetish. Like, would you jerk off to
Feet Finder.
Feet Finder? Oh, sorry.
This one, right?
Yeah, Feet Finder. I apologize about that. Yes, Feet Finder. But this is like it shows all the different categories here. Wait, there's like there's category section, right?
See, it's only the soles for me.
Arched boots. This is ebony feet, high
Flat
heels.
feet. Who
food.
the fuck likes that? See, there's weird shit.
Yeah, I guess it's like tits. It's like
And
if you're
here's what's
way
weird
into
about-
tits. It's like there's a million different categories of tits.
Other foot fetish guys put a bad name for every other foot because the guys who comment on girls' pictures, it's like, dude, everyone could see this. What is wrong with you? You're making everyone look like
They're
a fucking
perving out on the chick's feet.
Yeah, it'll be like a girl at the beach with her family, and some guy be like, nice toes.
Yeah,
and you're like,
guys don't have couth.
come on, dude.
Or etiquette.
You're ruining it for all of us.
What's the level of your foot fetish, Nick? Like where?
Like during sex, I like to look at them. I'll
Look at
suck a
them.
toe.
Suck
yeah,
a toe.
Yeah, but like,
you put all the feet in your mouth, like suck all the toes. I'll suck all the toes.
nah, I'm more like, like after you eat something good, like you.
Just lick it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
But like, I've seen certain levels where like a foot job does nothing for me.
A foot job. Yeah, I don't.
That
think
does nothing.
I don't think fucking a chick's feet would do anything for me.
No, because it just feels like an awkward hand job.
Right. You definitely need the fingers and a grip.
Yeah.
Unless you're fucking a monkey. That's different. They have hand feet.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a foot fetish. I just like I just
You have a level of it.
I
I
do.
think it's a spectrum.
Yeah, I guess it's a spectrum. Yeah, like they're the
It's
body
like
part.
autism.
Like I'm way into ass. I'm into all the I'm into like the meat and potatoes, the normal stuff. But then yeah, I like some kinky shit.
It's like autism. And the people who are further on it are so much more autistic, where they don't know how to act
Right.
in social situations.
But that's the thing, dude. I think that like honestly, like a lot of dudes are sort of lost with this shit. I think both genders get really lost because like I think women have got overly masculine, men have gotten overly feminine, and like not to say that like men couldn't use some femininity in their behavior and vice versa, and women couldn't like man up a little bit. But it's like I feel like sexually, it's like there's a lot of mismatch, especially now when you add like the internet, social media, communication breaking down to the way it is now, and like how people meet and how much less like interpersonal interaction there is leading up
You're
to the
saying
first
there's
thing.
nuance to
Porn.
doing it right.
Yeah, there's so much nuance. I mean, it's like what's more important than like human connection and like your relationships with people. You've kept me from being depressed this week by living on my couch. You agree
Ready
with this,
for
Natalie?
connection?
Ready for connection, right, Natalie?
I'd say we answered that one pretty good.
I think we
answered
answered
the
that
fuck
pretty
out of
good.
the question.
But I do feel like, listen, man, I had to learn this shit the hard way, like because I was raised by 3 women and I had 2 sisters, and there wasn't like any masculine energy really in my life, and so if anything, I had to learn how to like talking to women, and like I was always comfortable with women, and talking to them has always been easy, and like physically that's always been very
Did that
easy
make you an
for me.
overly nice guy off the jump?
I don't know if it made me overly nice, but it like the thing that was lacking was understanding like where my role is in guiding and leading.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you ever have a nice guy stage where you realized, okay, this is not working?
No,
No. Okay, good.
I didn't. What happened was like I had dated a few man-eaters, thinking that like if I like these very sexy masculine energy, like just dominant women, they turned me on, right? Just because they turn. And I was like, oh shit, if you're more of a man than they are, then that's how that works. And I was like, no. As my masculinity started to develop, they became less attractive to me.
Interesting.
Because I was just like, it's not about domino motherfuckering them. It's about like a woman's give and take with you, and them giving you the space to be the man while you give them the space to be the woman. So that's what I think.
I was wondering.
It became
sure that
like
you have
competitive.
some listeners who have that problem, because that's a problem that a lot of guys have. They don't know how to. Because I started off as a nice guy, because I was kind of like,
Yeah, you're a sweetheart.
My dad was, a Rikers Island corrections officer, so he was out working. So grew up with my mom, so I was always like a sweet guy, and like what I learned is like there is some nuance to it. You want to be nice in a way, but when I was realizing that didn't work at a young age, what changed was when I would just change my mind to like, I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit.
You mean like being you're saying nice to the point of being a pushover. A pushover.
Yeah, because guys are like, oh, girls will say they don't want an asshole, but they kind of want someone who's going to bust their balls, you know?
Right, but let me just pause right there. Even the way you're saying that is like pushover or asshole is exactly what she's saying in this. It's like guys are either like, asking for permission slips, or they're misogynist. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the way everybody thinks about it in like, the far left and the far right.
And it took testing for me, because at first I was too nice. Then I was like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to be a dick, you know?
Right, that's exactly
and it
what I'm
started
saying.
working for me to get laid. But then I realized, I'm like, okay, that works for getting laid, but that's about as far as that goes.
Yeah, and
You
you're
know what
not
I mean?
a dick.
Yeah, and I mean, I have my moments, like
Sure.
everyone does. And then when I realized, I'm like, let me just be me. Because a lot of those nice guys think that they're being nice, but what they're actually doing is just doing something with expectations.
They're capitulating.
They're like, if I do enough nice things, they should be tokens for me to get pussy.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
both doing it for the same reason.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's full of shit.
Just be you.
It's another tactic.
Yeah.
It's a tactic. Yeah, I was like, that was definitely the experience for me. It was like I dated like some women that were like, they were like so sexy and so, owned businesses. They just had their fucking shit on point with all that. But at the same time, they ran over dudes. And I thought it was like, oh, they had that thing where it's like, well, a real man will know how to handle me. And like I fed into that. And this is a big mistake people make like on the second level of this where they're like, right, I have to man up so that the dominant, and it's like now the way that like those women don't really even affect me, and like they're kind of like when in sort of like a relationship or sexual way when they try to do that, like it's a tactic as well. Like it just doesn't work. Yeah, and it ends up and I'm not that I'm attempting to do this because I don't think that I'm manipulative with women. I'm not. But like to them, the thing that's disarming is when it's like, yeah, that thing you're doing is like not. Yeah, it almost seems juvenile. Yeah. In the same way, me thinking that I needed to be more of a dick than they were was sort of like juvenile. But it was like, being the nice guy would be like, being an adolescent. Being the dick would be a teenager. And then as a grown up, you're like, no, you don't need to play either one of those games.
I mean, there's games you always have to play. No matter what a girl says, there's always going to be games you have to play. Like if you're overly attentive, that's the one thing that I learned was because at first when I tried that whole asshole thing out and I wasn't showing girls attention. There's like, especially the hottest girls were like, why isn't this guy showing me attention? Correct. He's not texting me back. Correct. It's taking him hours to text me back. Yeah, the
lack of availability like leads to interest because you're like, they still have to chase.
And the funny thing is, if you could create that without being like the Andrew Tate, like you could do, like people are like, oh, let me be like Andrew Tate and just not give a fuck about what. Like, no, you could just create that chase and not make yourself available, which is going to make people want you more. Because if you're less available, that just works with anything.
And you know what?
That works at business. That works with like. That's why Dave Chappelle, people are like, oh, when is he drop? He's dropping into. Right. You don't know when he's dropping into a comedy club. He just shows up and you're like, holy shit, Dave's here. You know?
And the way to do that is to just be like, wait, am I being overly attentive right now because I'm afraid that if I don't respond, this person won't come back? Like in a real friendship or relationship that you have with everybody else, you cannot call your friend back a few times when they text you and then be like, dude, I'll get back to you later. Like it's sort of more honest. You know what I'm saying, Natalie? Like it's like more honest to like doing the thing to avoid being overly attentive is probably just like more your natural state anyway. If you aren't so hungry for this person's attention,
chances are you should probably stop acting.
Yes, that's a good way to say it. All right, well there we go. What's next?
Sorry, we went off on a tangent.
No, I like when we go off on tangents. That's the point of these. The point of these is to get us off on tangents.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right, that one was a little long. This one's very short and sweet. Cody says, is watching porn gay?
Kinda. I know what he means, but we all do it.
I'm reading this question,
I've done it less and less, and I've been on a break forever, but go ahead.
Let me ask, when you watch porn, does the guy have to have a big piece?
No.
No? Well, if he has a small piece, are you not like concerned? Like, this is weird.
No, I wouldn't be either, because if it was like a small dick one and like it was like a chick being like fucking like the simp, that might hit like a fetish button also. You know when they have those ones where it's like they're actually, I think they're called like mopes or something in the porn industry.
Like cucks?
No, the mope is like when they use like the extras where they're like, oh, we're in a college dorm and these are just college kids. They're not. They're like, they're like the extras, and they're people who want to be like extras in porn movies and get their dick licked like twice. That's what they are. But I get that. Like,
here's why this question kind of like is interesting to me, because I can't watch lesbian porn. That shit does
almost
nothing to me.
Almost no straight guy.
Nothing to me. Like, there's got to be a dick involved.
Straight women do, though.
Yeah. I remember we read a study on it on the Erotica where it was like women just want to see sensuality and interaction and touching and sucking, and it doesn't really matter so much like who's doing what to who.
But like with porn, you don't like, if I saw a small dick in porn, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I could finish it. I can't.
You can't.
No, if it's a small dick,
you need a lot of fucking meat, huh, Nick?
You want it to be similar to you or above.
Nick's trying to tell everybody he's got a thickie.
I got a good one.
Nicky The Lat.
Nicky The Lat.
But I mean, I think most guys, I guess, what's the most popular porn categories? Teen.
Now, I'm like, that's my joke. I'm like, it's gotten so extreme. I'm like, this poor girl, she's got 2 dicks and a shoe in her ass. Like, someone give her a hug.
Yeah, like guys want. Like those videos, like 2 dicks, gangbangs. It's a girl uncomfortable.
But here's what. All right. So to this question, here's why: is because porn is so rampant. It's so ubiquitous. Himbo word of the day: ubiquitous. Natalie, we gotta.
Can you spell that?
Nick, I can't spell the.
I know you've been asking me for spelling all week. That's why when you said that word, I'm like, "There's no fucking way you wrote that word down." No, I can say big words. But I cannot spell. I have to there'd be fucking Russian symbols.
You misspelled club on the email.
Did I? I have to rewrite the emails.
How many B's did you put in?
CLUN.
Club. That was just a typo.
Oh my god.
That was a genuine typo.
That was a genuine typo.
Yes. I'm just busting you.
No, I know, but because porn is so widespread, available, and like you're seeing so much of it, and it's like high speed. It's like in order to get off, it's got to be stronger. It's like the fucking
It's heroin.
the fucking
Like you
Adderalls
start
aren't
off-
enough. You got to start doing coke, then you got to start doing meth.
You start off with Oxy and or like a Vicodin, and you're like, all right, then you try an Oxy, and you can't go back to Vicodin.
No.
You know?
No.
Then you're doing bags of smack, and
That's
you're like, how
it.
did I get
You
here?
got to be sucking dick under a bridge to get off.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why we talked about that last time I was here. It's like that sensitivity. So the further you go down that line, there's no coming back unless you just
You think
Off.
with sex addiction?
yeah, you can't go back to fucking
You
jerking off the Sears catalog
dude.
unless you come off for a long. You have to come off it for a
You
long time.
recalibrate. That was that whole fight the new drug website. Like you recalibrate. It takes a certain amount of time, and then you like Jay. We were on the road. We were at New York Comedy Club this weekend. Oh, and I got to give shout out to Liz, who listens to every one of these episodes and came up to me. She's been a fan from day one, so thank you so much, Liz. Yeah, come on, you can read me. Thank you so much. I'm just grabbing some water here. But we were there, and Jay was like, "Wait, you just jerk off the thoughts?" Thank you so much, dude. I was like, "Yeah, I jerk
That's
off.
so crazy
I
to
jerk
me.
off the thought. You couldn't do that?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No.
Oh, I
no.
told-
What
I think-
thoughts?
Maybe this is a feminine perspective, but same.
You jerk off the thoughts?
Yeah, I find it better because I'm
is better.
very picky about a scenario,
I can
and they
jerk-
don't exist anywhere else.
I can jerk off to like nights I've had, like one night stands I've had. That chick that like I could absolutely, and then you're in fantasy. Here's what I think. I know what he means by is porn gay. What he means is like, is it like kind of like a whack thing to do? It's like drinking. It's like, if every time if you can't go out and have a good time without getting drunk,
It's kind of gay.
that's different than like being able to have a glass of wine every now. If you can sort of monitor and limit how much it controls your life or it doesn't, you're like, all right, you know what? I'm just getting in and getting out here. That's one that would be hard to do. It was hard to do for me, which is why I pretty much stopped watching it.
I'd say the further you go down the line, the more gay it is.
The more gay, but you're saying gay in which way? Like whack.
No, like
Gay meaning gay? I don't think he means literally gay.
oh, okay, never mind then.
Is that what you thought he meant?
Yeah,
No, I think he
I want to hear that take though.
give us the
because
take.
the further you go down the line, the more hardcore it gets. If you go too far down the line, you're not watching regular people fuck.
Oh, you're watching two guys
10 dicks that are gigantic,
Right, and the dicks are touching.
smacking a girl around with their penis. Like,
Right.
You're like, do you ever end up in a porn situation? You're like, how did I get here?
Yeah,
It's like you went down the wrong street.
Yeah, you go too far, and then the girl's like got two dicks in her mouth, and the guy's dicks are touching.
Yeah, and the guy
That's
has a fucking bear mask on, and you're like,
Oh,
did I get-
what's that one? The bear
the
guy.
bear club, the guy in the club with
Yeah,
the bear.
guy.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that's what he means. Is that what he means, Natalie? I think he means like, is
I
watching
have no
porn? Is that
idea.
like
His question is so short.
I think he's using the word gay as meaning like, is this a fucking lame thing to do? And I think like at a
Yes.
certain point, it kind of is.
To answer both questions, yes.
It is, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're aware of that. Yeah, I think it is. I think like I'm better off when I'm not watching porn. I dated this chick who was a porn star, and it really bugged me. Like seeing the other side of that world, thinking that like I was like, let me just let me be open here.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought I was genuinely like my intentions. I was talking to my shrink about this at the time. I was like, I don't know if I'm just being obtuse to the way things have changed in our culture, and let me just see. Right.
Yeah.
And it was all girl, so it wasn't anything like, I wasn't like, she's not fucking other guys. She wasn't gay, so I was like, I know this is just performance. But the sort of dehumanizing aspect of it was really fucking bothersome to me.
For sure.
100%. And it was like, I was doing the thing, and I think a lot of guys make this mistake, and this is to the point of when I was saying I was dating those dominant women, right? Guys, women probably do this too, but like, and you'll tell me, Natalie, if this is a thing that's common for women too. Guys do this thing where they're like, they think that by being quiet and taking it on the chin is like the tough guy or manly thing to do when they have feelings that are different. Because they may be worried that their feelings are not, maybe they make them a pussy, or they're being too sensitive. And then really what they're doing is glorifying passivity, being like, the man thing to do is just sort of like, nah. Like, how many times you hear people say like, nah, in order to date a stripper, you got to be a really confident dude. Like, do you have to be a really confident dude, or do you have to have like a kink like that and be like, I'm okay. Like, if it bothers you, like, I'm going to accept this thing that really bothers me because this chick's really hot. Like that. Is that confidence? You either don't give a fuck,
It could
which
be one
that's
or the
not
other.
confidence. Not giving a fuck is not a sign of confidence. It just means like this doesn't bother you. This
Yeah.
isn't a thing that bothers
I
you.
think that's confidence in a way.
There's certain things that wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe. I guess it could. Sure.
What
fine.
you're saying though, like meeting like I've met so many porn stars, and it was almost like when you found out wrestling wasn't real. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah.
found out porn's not real, you like, and it's like all that shit you see is like they're like you're doing a 10-hour shoot, you're taking breaks. There's like it's not enjoyable. It's like
No, it's
it
definitely
makes
not. It's not what you think.
It was like when you found out wrestling wasn't real. You're like, okay, it's not real, but I still respect the fuck out of the artist, you know, because
Sure.
what they're doing is still hard fucking work, and it's a different respect that you have for them.
For wrestlers or for porn
Both.
stars? I don't. Go
Like-
ahead, continue.
Because porn stars, they have to fucking. This girl has to be taking a dick for 10 hours and different positions for
I don't
photos.
find it necessarily something that I would like deem as like an esteemable act. I'm sorry if that's like
No, it's
a
you.
not popular opinion. That's just my personal.
I'm not
feeling
saying
on it.
I admire that act. I'm just
Oh,
saying
you're
I
saying
respect that
yeah,
act.
you're. I get that. No, I'll give you that too.
It's
You-
like wrestling. It's like even though it's not real, they're still beating
Yeah,
the shit out of their
You
bodies.
respect the work, the work effort
Yes.
that takes,
Mhm.
right? Natalie, you're nodding at me. We need the female voice.
Yeah,
on
we
this,
got there. You guys landed on the same point.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect. Yeah, I respect that there is a work like this. This is not the kind of thing where it's like even though you would just been like showing your ass on social media, and this is I'm like I get that this is like draining and you're tired at the end of the day too.
Yeah, taking a dick by Shane Diesel is the same as like getting chokeslammed by the Undertaker. I'm not going to do either
Sure.
of them, but I'm like, good for you.
Sure. Same thing
That's
as like
fucking-
same thing as like a fucking
That
same
hurts.
listen, a drug dealer at the end of like a fucking long day on the corner is probably tired. Also, doesn't mean I respect what they're selling.
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
could like that takes a lot of pain and effort, and good for you.
Sure.
that you could do that.
Sure.
I'm not going to do it, but good for you.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't. I think that like porn in general, if you can fucking monitor that shit, and it could be like a small thing in your life, like you know, you can use it every now and then. But the other thing is like also, when I was dating that girl, it was like I became really sensitive to like the background of a lot of these performers, and like that on that Fight the New Drug website, it showed me like so much stuff about like how the amount that are sex trafficked, like what you think is and is not sex trafficking, like the amount, like I'm sure there's people who it's like, no, they're just sexually open and this is something that they wanted to do. I'm sure that is a very small percentage.
Yeah.
But I saw the other side of it where I was like, oh man, there's stuff here that like I don't necessarily want to be like supporting.
Dude,
That's just my feelings on it.
it'd be so funny if Cody's listening. He's like, it was a simple question.
No. We're going to dig in, dude. This is the sinew beneath the himbo physique, everybody. All right, so we can go to the next one.
Okay, the next one is Hard Memes says, "What's your meal prep game look like?"
You can go.
Do you want to go first? Yours is a little simpler.
I'm like an intuitive eater. The shit, I don't buy, there's not a lot of shit in my fridge that if I were meal prepping for something like important, like a fitness competition or a photo shoot or something, that I wouldn't eat anyway. So it's like there's just healthy shit in my fridge. And I kind of understand the ratios of protein to carbs to fat, macros, so that I could just do it on the fly. But
Yeah.
that's all. It's what I buy. It's like I just buy those healthy. Of course, there's like stuff in there that are like, you know, when I'm just eating for fun and I pig out on pizza and I do like, you know, insane cheat days. But it's just like,
There's a question that we talked about the other day, and it really is dependent on where you live. Because for Justin, it's a lot harder for him to meal prep than me because his kitchen is small. You're in New York, your kitchen's small.
by the way, the number one thing when I was moving back from LA that drove me crazy, I was like, God damn it, I can't. I'm going back to like a New York City kitchen, and I have a decent sized apartment. I'm going back to a fucking New York City kitchen, not like all those countertops. It's like when people are like, just get the air fryer and just get the. I'm like, yeah, you have open big counter space with tons of.
Yeah, my
room.
kitchen's huge because I got the place in South Florida,
Yeah.
and it's like my refrigerator, my freezer's bigger
double, the
than just
double.
my freezer's bigger
Yeah,
than your fridge.
the double.
You know, so it's like I could actually I go to Costco. This is if you live in a place that's not New York City,
Costco's the best.
Costco game changer, right? Because so I'll explain my meal prep just because I'm doing something as an experiment right now, and it's been working really well because I've heard so many people say this statement: it's impossible to lose weight when you don't have money, right? They're always like, it's expensive to eat healthy. So what I did was I gave myself
That goes
a
back
budget.
to what you were saying, Natalie. Remember that? Like months
yeah,
ago?
I think people misunderstood what I said there. What I meant was not that you can't get fit or lose weight if you don't have money, but like it's tougher to have access to healthy shit if you live in a poor area without a lot of grocery stores.
Yeah, and
I'm
I'm saying I agree that you are probably right about that. Now.
So what I've been doing as an experiment for that is I've been giving myself a budget of less than $100 a week to eat. And what I did was, this has been a game changer. I went to Costco, but you can go to any store that has, like in New York City, you go to Restaurant Depot, which is even cheaper than Costco. And what you do is you get a 50-pound bag of rice. That costs less than $50. That's going to last you months. So what I've been doing is I'm not eating as fancy right now. I'm doing ground chicken or whatever is the cheapest that I could get in bulk. So like
Sweet potatoes.
No, I'm staying with chicken, ground chicken, rice. And I'm doing that for most of my meals. I cook up a week. Like I could do a week's worth of, if you have a rice cooker, basically a week's worth of rice. That giant bag.
Does it go bad?
Rice?
Yeah.
No, it lasts for
No. After it's cooked,
no.
you make a week's worth of rice at one time.
Well, I mean, I'm meal prepping for me and my dogs, but
Got it.
yeah.
So I do the same thing when I make Bruce's food. I make
If I know I'm going to be home for a couple of days, then I'll do it by the day,
Yeah.
because it's easier. But sometimes it's harder to do that if you have like a job where you're going in every day. But I've been able to figure out how to keep my food budget pretty much under $90 a week in this experiment. And I've lost 18 pounds since December.
Is that the reason you're doing it, or are you doing it for financial reasons?
No, I'm doing it for that reason because I'm trying to make spoiler. I'm making a video for my channel that's going to be
Fitness
for
thing.
people because I've had some people be like, I can't afford to eat healthy. So I'm like, let me see if I could do it.
Can I plug something that I like? There's a show on YouTube called Struggle Meals, and the point is that each serving is like under $3 or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he has a bunch of videos about meal prepping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily for health, but a lot of them are.
This is what I've been doing is I've been getting the ground chicken. I got a big thing of taco seasoning, right?
Oh yeah, you made.
So I literally make taco season grilled ground either turkey or chicken, whatever it is that week that's cheaper at the supermarket. I'm making my rice. I'm mixing it together. I use a little bit of hot sauce just for a little bit of flavor. You get that huge bottle of Frank's Red Hot, the Buffalo, for pretty cheap. And that alone, as long as you are willing to be like, okay, I can't afford to be fancy and eat all these different types of stuff. So if I could find a meal that I like I love the ground chicken with the rice, you could actually enjoy what you're doing and lose the weight in that process. So I'm doing it as an experiment. Like I could just be going on TikTok and showing you like those videos I showed you where you're like anabolic
the
chicken.
anabolic recipes.
Yeah, I could be doing that, but I'm like, let me try this and
It's
see
also
if
simpler
it's
and easier.
It's so much simpler, so much easier, and to be honest, it just made my life less difficult.
You know, a big diet hack I realized this week is seasoning.
Mm-hmm. Salt. You don't put salt on
I don't put
shit.
salt on it. Seasoning is like you could just like seasoning is a big fucking diet hack.
That's why people hate
Like
on white people's cooking.
It'll really fucking it'll hit that craving. Like you just take it's like you had tacos. Like what you're missing is like the accoutrement.
Yeah, if you're eating
You're
stuff
missing the
plain-
style of the food a lot.
Yeah, if you're eating because I see people like, oh, I don't want to eat plain chicken breast and rice and broccoli.
Right. Right.
If you
I wouldn't have thought
season
to
it
put-
good,
Right.
it actually tastes really good.
Yeah,
if
it
you know what
does.
you're doing.
It does.
Sorry, tangent again.
Why are you apologizing for tangents? The point of these questions is that we give answers. Okay, what's the last one? Is this the last one?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Last one. Guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm a little bit tired today. I have a fucking digital addiction that we got to work on. Nick made a recommendation. I'm like dragging. I'm tired when I'm stuttering like this. It's because I'm fucking tired. Because I am 100% addicted to social media where I'll get on and I'll just be like right about to fall asleep and then just finishing saying something and then I'm like wake myself back up in the process of doing it. It's an issue. I'm going to put it's sleep hygiene that I have not been following.
I should plug it for your followers. I'm not sponsored by them by any means.
What is
but
it?
I have a friend who uses it. It's called App Lock, and you give someone else the pin, so they're the only people who could take it off your phone. So what you do is you give them the pin. You can't go into it. And it locks the app. You click on it all you want. You can't get into the app except for the times that you allow yourself.
I did it with Ari when we were in Miami because he was reading a book about social media addiction. And then he was like, yeah, just set Apple has it. Apple has like the limiter on it, right?
Yeah.
What is it called? The app. app limiter, whatever.
Well, app lock is just great because
something like that.
you
But-
could set it and give someone else a pin and be like, don't give me that fucking pin.
So I gave it to Ari, and I told Ari, I'd be like, you have to give this to one other person because Ari's like such a fucking prankster. Like, who knows what he would do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he gave it to my mom, and then I was like, of course I'm gonna get what I want from my mom, from mommy, from fucking mommy. I'm gonna get what I want. I'm a only child to a Jewish mother. I have my sisters are half sisters. I'll explain it on another episode.
Yeah.
My brothers are half brothers. Okay. Yeah, I got to get app lock because I'm dragging. I apologize.
All right, last one. Laura says, Dear Himbos, I entered into my first 5K and was wondering if you guys can drop me pointers on warming up when it comes to running and jogging. Love you guys from day one.
Oh, thank
Can
you.
I'm also
Go.
signed up for my first 5K this year.
Are you?
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I run a lot, but I have been trying to join a 5K since 2020, and they kept getting canceled because of COVID. So first real one this year.
5K is what? 3.5 miles?
Less 3.1 or something like that.
Oh, that's easy.
Do you ride a bike in that, or is that just running?
Just running.
Okay. That would be 10 minutes otherwise.
I don't know. One of
Ride a
them's
bike
like
3
you
miles,
do.
like
You
10
bike, you run, you swim. I don't know.
No,
I
that's
don't
a
know.
triathlon, you
I don't fucking
psychopath. You don't think do the 5K
Do I look like
and
I do
triathlon?
cardio competitions?
What do you do to warm up, Nat?
I just do a couple walking laps usually, and I do the same stretches that I do afterward before. I just do like on the floor, like touching your toes. There's one where you pull your toes back, and then another where you have your back straight and you just lean forward as far as you can.
Fair.
And hit different parts of your legs.
Warming up is more your stilo than me.
I'm in New York City, so I'm walking over to where I'm going to be running. I'm not driving over there. That's why you don't really need to warm up so much because you're walking to the gym mostly. But like, if I'm going to go running, especially after the ankle injury, and I did this before, I'll like just jog for about 2 minutes, and then I like make sure I roll my ankle out, like just rolling it around on the floor, and then I stretch my knees out, stretch my hamstrings out, and then I just like start a little slower, and then after the first 2 minutes, I pick it up to the speed I want to pick it up. That's it, and then just stretching afterwards. Then if you have like icing, and by the way, Voltaren gel. If people get inflammation anywhere, that's the shit I put on my knees the other day. It's this anti-inflammatory gel or cream that they have. So instead of just taking a bunch of Advil when you have injuries and shit, which is not good for your liver, you can put Voltaren gel on your injuries, and it's just going.
What does it do exactly?
It's basically like ibuprofen, but it works if it goes in through the skin.
Okay.
So it's targeting it, and you're not putting it through your liver, so it's not working systemically. It's just working on that area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it is fucking awesome. If I have after long flights, my back's all fucked up, I'll put it on there. Jay had his finger he was playing basketball, his finger bent back, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, and he had to be on. He was shooting especially. He didn't think he was gonna be able to hold the mic. I'm like, put some of this on for 2 days, and it was like right back to normal. That is it. Thank you guys so much for the listener questions. Let us go to plugs. Nick, what do you got?
So I'm going to be at Magoobies March 31st to April 1st in Timonium, Maryland. Then I will be with Justin at Brokerage on the 14th and the 15th. And then the next one right after that will be Helium in Portland, Oregon, April 20th till the 22nd.
Nice. Social media?
Everything is at Not Nick Simmons.
And by the way, Nick, and I will say this, is deceivingly funny. You see this fucking human lat muscle Goomba over here, and you're like, no. Nick is fucking hilarious on stage, man, and his social media is popping off and well fucking deserved. We were at New York Comedy Club, and it was like, I did the opening set, which is like a weird place to put me on the show.
Yeah.
And then the show picked up so much speed, and normally they are dead, and then Nick jumped on at the very end, like after checks, and it was probably the best. It was the best set of the night on that night. Dude, I was fucking way impressed with you. Legit, way impressed. Natalie.
Natalie DeChico edits on Instagram, and watch Gas Digital now on the Gas Digital exclusive YouTube channel.
Nice. As for me, it's at I am Justin Silver on all social media platforms. IamJustinSilver.com for tickets. My YouTube channel has lots of fun clips, like 10-minute segments and stuff like that from like crowd work shit that I do. So you can find that on. It's linked actually from the Himbos YouTube, but it's just Justin Silver Comedy. As Nick said, we will be at the Brokerage in Belmore April 14th and 15th. 18th. And then Himbos is going to be at Moon Tower, April 20th. We are bringing Natalie with us. It is me and Josh and Nats doing a live show. So please come support us. Check us out. We're going to have a great guest on there. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's at Himbos Podcast on all social media platforms. himbospodcast@gmail.com to send in those listener questions. Again, thank you for the 5-star ratings and reviews. And if you screen cap one of those and send them to me each week, I'll pick one person and send you one of those retro Himbos t-shirts. Thank you so much for joining us on Patreon. It is patreon.com/Himbos Podcast. There is tons of fun bonus content up there. If you sign up for a month and you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. That's fine. No harm, no foul. We still love you.
Should we give a Himbos flex at the end?
Himbos flex?
Yeah.
You want to flex?
Let's do it.
Instead of philosophy? Nick's... Fuck, Nick. I can't...
Let's get good
Take your
lighting.
shirt off. Take your shirt off, Nick.
No, I'm
Take it
fat
off.
right now.
Not fat. Nick's your fucking... I can't fucking... Nick is wearing my t-shirt right now
Yeah, I was all out of shirts.
because he's like my baby brother. And I'm like, I can't... I'm never gonna... How can I wear this now? It's not gonna
It's
fit
ruined.
anymore. It's not gonna fit anymore.
Ruined.
With that, we will see you next week.
We are the himbos, we are not bimbos. We are the himbos, we are not